Welcome back to more of the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. Last time, we did quite a few things all around the Zeiss region, and finally got our revenge on the evil penguins once and for all, and got a really good accessory out of it too. This time, we're finally turning in our ZFG to the Zeiss Bracer Guild. This means only 2 more ZFGs for the rest of the chapter. This isn't exactly on time because we fought a whole bunch of things. Everyone kind of going up those stairs looks a little bit weird. Ah yes, always thinking about the logical course of action. Now I kind of wish that I had Zin in the party here, because he'd probably have some things to say to her. At least Tita probably knows her well, living in the same region and all. Yeah, Zeiss is pretty much non-existent at this point in terms of what it can do. Definitely the hardest hit city. And it's pretty much impossible to visit this one first. Although you can quite easily just ignore the guild branches in the other areas and give your first ZFG here. Yeah, I might go and check in with him just to see how he's doing. Oh yeah, don't worry, we already saw that with our own eyes. Well, not really with our own eyes with assistance, because if we used our own eyes, we wouldn't be able to see anything. And yeah, they actually acknowledge that if you go there, which is just... There's actually a lot of really cool variant dialogue in this game. It's just kind of interesting because, like, yeah, it is a fairly linear JRPG for the most part. Not that there's anything wrong with that in my book, but... there is actually a surprising amount of variance in the dialogue, I find. They do remember which order you go to places in, and... if something's mentioned in dialogue, and it's possible to have gone to that place before it gets mentioned, there'll usually be an acknowledgement of it if you've done that. It's really cool. So this is our hint at what our quest for this region is, besides the monster ones. It seems like the hot spring is non-functional, again. This is like the 3rd time the hot spring's not working, and all of them have been for different reasons. The first time the pump broke, the second time the fountainhead went crazy and the water went boiling, and this time Orbal power is just gone. Well, yeah, yeah, we also fought Ren and, stuff went on there that's best not mentioned. Yeah, once they inserted the Gospels into those towers, it was probably already too late. At least we stopped them before any major casualties occurred at the hands of the Ouroboros forces protecting the towers. So we did achieve something. Like, Estelle thinks it's a waste of time, but I personally don't really think so. More people could have got hurt if we let that go on any longer. Oh yeah, we probably should have done that the first thing, but yeah, we kind of got caught up chatting. The phone at this guild branch is actually going to be pretty important later on. By later on, I mean during the side quest we'll be doing right now. And yeah, it actually does give you the choice of who to remove your ZFG from. Tita still needs hers. I'm going to have to remove from Estelle. So yeah, the further you go into the chapter, the less art you have access to. So, as you might be able to tell, by the end of this chapter, I'm going to be using a party of Agate and Zin, because those are the 2 who don't really need arts. And Estelle can be a fairly solid backup arts user if you set her up that way. I mean, her versatility is decent, especially at a time like this. Like, if you didn't have a protagonist like Estelle, this part of the game would probably be a lot harder than it actually is, but... That said, I still wish she was a bit better. I wish her crafts were better, honestly. Morale is decent, but at this point it's outclassed by La Forte. So we're taking care of checking on both of those places in the same quest. Also, we're going to go ahead and turn in our pay from the monster quests, finally. So, Winter Roadway monster and Trap Plains monster. We're actually getting very close to being completely done. So yeah, the Elmo Hot Spring quest is not listed here, but that will be our next stop. So here we are in Elmo Village, and you might notice that I brought Zin into the party because he didn't really get much of a chance to explore the Zeiss region because he joined right at the end of Chapter 2. And I kind of wanted him to be here for this. So, we need to talk to Mrs. Mao here. And you're another person that Joshua hasn't been introduced to in a long time. So yeah, no free 200 CP, sadly. This is a little bit weird, but you have to talk to her twice in order to initiate this quest. I mean, that's kind of difficult right now. Please tell everyone where you're going with this before you just offer to borrow keys to important places. I mean, if there's anyone who could kind of jury-rig a solution, it's probably Tita. You make that sound like it's a really big decision, but like the pump shed is just right up here. It's not all that far. Okay, you are still allowed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're still allowed to go in there in case you miss any chests earlier in the game. So if we open this door with the pump shed key, I guess it's our second time in here. This time, instead of just one part needing replacing, absolutely nothing's working. But if it's old, maybe only a small part of it is connected to an orbal system. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the spring itself, or the piping. That would be pretty interesting, but no. Yeah, that would be way too much work. Unfortunately, we can't really afford to spare one of those. And also this. But you may have come up with something. Let's just let her get to work for a bit. I don't think she's going to respond even if we try calling her right now. That's kind of what I guessed. No, I knew she could do it. Yeah, we had to deal with one of those back in FC. Everything is just all coming back. Chapter 8 is just the chapter of callbacks in general. Not really sure Zin would have too much experience with this kind of thing. Landing port, okay then. So, this quest is a lot of back and forth, and that's why I recommend that you equip the cloak quartz on someone. Because we also need fuel. That's usually kept down in storage in the central factory, except the conveyor belts aren't working, so I'm not really sure how we get that. So for right now, our first destination is the Zeiss landing port, and I'll just see you over there. Okay, here we are. There's really not much that can be done in this place with orbital power off, but hey, there's Gustav. Yeah, stuff happened, let's just say. No real time to explain it to you right now. I still think this guy looks like he could be a mercenary in a Fire Emblem game. I mean, hopefully nothing crashed. Yeah, you wouldn't come all the way over here without a reason. I just noticed that you can actually see the word Zeiss on the flags on those lampposts, which are also not lit, because, yeah, that makes sense. Now, hopefully this combustion engine isn't useful for anything more major, like, I don't know, driving army vehicles or things like that. But yeah, if the machine is really not that useful for much other than something like this, there's no real harm in having us borrow it. Oh. So the army is using it. So, yeah, this is one of those go around asking various people to get something for you, and then when you go there, it's like, oh, by the way, we don't have it, we gave it to this other person already. This kind of quest can be really annoying, but at least this one... At least this one comes very late into the game, I suppose. Now, there's actually something really interesting about this part of the quest. You could trek all the way to the fortress on foot, but remember when I said restoring the phone would be important later? You can actually go to the Bracer Guild and ask Kilika to call the fortress. That way you don't have to walk all the way out there on foot. I have actually tested both methods, and I can confirm that going to the fortress yourself and asking them personally still works, but this saves a lot of time. It's just kind of nice that they have a second option built in here that not everyone might discover. And we're lucky the people who borrowed the engine are one of the few places that have operational phones right now. Oh, really? Again? Oh, okay then. Well, at least, doesn't seem like the whole ship was destroyed or anything. But Trap Plains isn't that far from here. We can quite easily walk. You may have already seen that ship earlier, when we were on our way to fight the Abyss Worms. So, here we are in Trap Plains, and here is that Royal Army ship. It's basically immediately south of Carnelia Tower. So we have to talk to the officer in charge here. We're the lot that basically just, say, well, mostly say things at the towers. And we're gonna have to borrow your engine. I mean, it's not their engine, and it's not like it's powering any of their ships. It's too small for that. I like how you can see the chest there in this cutscene. At least it's nowhere near as annoying as, I know I've mentioned this before, but the end cutscene for the second visit to the Beauty and the Beast world in Kingdom Hearts 2, I forget the actual name. Oh yeah, Beast Castle, obviously. The end cutscene to that, there are some chests you can see in the cutscene, and you have to re-enter the world in order to get them, because the cutscene boots you out of the world. Well, everyone needs some relaxation time. Oh, don't worry, we still kind of have your priorities, but we're also doing this on the side. Yeah, right now you've basically just got bayonets. Well, I mean, we have ZFGs, so we're kind of an exception. We're just helping who we can. Because we can't really make a permanent solution to this problem until we have airships again, and we don't really know when that will be. So, once you have that, you're taken to a bit of a scene here. Gasoline is next on our list. So, back to Zeiss. While we're here, let's check in with Factory Head Murdoch just to see how he's doing. Well, hopefully all this stress doesn't bring back his smoking habit. Yeah, it's been of a lot of use so far. I don't even know where we'd be if we didn't have those. Yeah, help that you can't really even provide at this point. Best you can do is just get oil-based lamps everywhere. Teach people how to cook using traditional stoves, maybe. Oh no, all the tomatoes are gonna die. I mean, I don't know if that will be a particularly big loss considering how awful they taste. But at least they recharge your CP. But yeah, you can actually tell this guy where Ray is if you talk to him before, so another bit of attention to detail in the dialogue in this game. And we actually haven't swept that part of the region yet, so hopefully he's still okay. Actually, let's check in with how you're doing. You really helped us back in FC with Agate. At least most medicine doesn't rely on augments. But supplying medicine is another story. Plus, you're pretty much restricted to getting supplies from the Grand Cell direction because, yeah, good luck getting them through Caldia Tunnel in the dark. Of course, yet another time when we go somewhere and they don't have what we need. Yeah, slight problem is a bit of an understatement. Oh, hey there, Factory Chief Murdoch, we just saw you before. Sort of. And cut during the exposition. That's a pretty big delay on a delivery. By sea? Okay then, well, maybe not so much of a delivery time then. Yeah, by sea means in ruin. And you know what that means. Yep, this quest is taking us all over the place. We actually need to go to Ruin for the next step. And that's why I wanted to do this now, because we're heading to Ruin anyway. Well, at least we have something to show them to prove that our intentions are genuine. You never really saw Joshua's, like, semi-blushing portrait that much in FC. Yeah, I suppose the hot spring is partially your responsibility. Yes, like I said, make sure your smoking habit doesn't pick up again. So it's time to head to Zeiss, and you might notice that I've actually swapped up my party a bit. We've used Tita for quite a while now, so I'm going to go to Agate and Zin, two people who don't need ZFGs at all. And yeah, Caldia Tunnel, I suppose I can show trekking through here. Just stick to the roads, I find, is best. Also, make sure you equip the Cloak Quartz. If you didn't get it in the tower, you can synthesize one. I would recommend you do that, because otherwise this area is a pain. Something I should also mention, though, is that, if we check our map, okay, we're not quite there yet, but Caldia Limestone Cave is still open to us, I think. And yeah, if we go through here, though it can be a little bit confusing navigating through this area in the dark. Yeah, Doot Limestone Cave is still perfectly fine in terms of lighting, and that means that you can still fish here. In fact, there are some fish that you can only find in the underground lake where the evil penguin was before, both of them. So thankfully that fishing spot is still available to you, but in Caldia Tunnel itself, you cannot use the fishing spot in here. Thankfully, there's nothing exclusive to this fishing spot, so we're not missing out on much, but yeah, makes sense you wouldn't be able to fish in pitch darkness. Yeah, see, as you can see, no fishing spot here anymore. Oh, by the way, this is what Caldia Tunnel looks like without the night goggles on. But at least we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, literally. Here we are back at Airletten, and yep, this fishing spot is still active. I still love the fact that you can fish into the waterfall. But that's not really what we're concerned with right now. We're heading to Ruin to pick up that thing from before. Oh, hey Melvin. Yeah, we know you. We've seen you around. I'm sure you're busy, but without a ZFG, things must be kind of a pain for you. So, we're back in this region. I remember back in the days when the monsters here were painful to deal with thanks to hard mode, but now they're kind of jokes. It's just kind of interesting how far we've come. This is also why I like doing the regions in this order, because that way we save the first one we originally visited for the last one we visit now. Before we do anything else, we want to make a stopover at Safel Tower, not just because of the dimension bugs, because of something else. Where are you? You should be somewhere. There you are! Okay, yeah. It's another one of these Quaker-type enemies. And as for equipment, I've got a few people have basically seal and blind protection. I feel like, I don't know if blind is better or not. I know it uses one of those two ailments. I just kind of forget which. It's probably blind, given that that's what the other one used. So for now, I may as well go for blind protection. Swap Estelle's cloak over to Heaven's Eye as well, almost forgot that. And we have a bunch of the enemies from earlier in the game, the Roadrunners, who are kind of jokes now, but the real thing here is the Ebony Scale. Weak to Earth, and that HP count's actually not too high for this point in the game. So, let's start things out by, yeah, I want to hit them with Clock Down. Okay, yeah, Zin can already buff himself. Agate will, I don't know what Agate should do here. I can clear out a few of the annoying enemies with a knockout meatball. Oh, okay, actually, no. Huh. Didn't expect it to do that little damage. Anyway, Zin is starting off this fight like he always does with True Just Stand. Now, depending on where these things go, I might be able to get a Thunder God kickoff on them. Let's see. Well, looks like they're gonna give us a Thunderbolt. Oh yeah, the Roadrunners can still inflict instant death, which it doesn't really matter how high or low their strength stat is for that, so I can easily deal with them with a Death Scream, which I'll get off on Joshua once he gets off this Clock Down, but yeah, maybe you shouldn't exactly underestimate these things. It's kind of an interesting way to make an early game enemy still a threat this late into things. And don't really have anything Earth-related, but I can still Death Scream. I have a whole bunch of ATS boosting things on Estelle right now. Yeah, these Roadrunners must be... Maybe they are actually stronger versions. That's kind of interesting. But, yeah, you're not strength buffed at all, though, so I'm not really confident in you doing a lot of damage, but I guess I can try and delay you. Yeah, these things don't get knocked back very far, but at least delay works on them. Should I go for Orbital down, or should I just use another... I'm gonna... yeah, I'll do this. And still more Thunderbolts. That's supposed to be Lieutenant Surge from Pokemon anime, but I'm pretty sure that I am butchering that. Well, that's a lot of them. But that one may have actually just gone into a perfect position for me. Yeah, it means that I can get 3 things in one, yeah, but I can only get 2 things with that. Oh well, it's still a Thunder Gold kick on 2 of them. And Petrify works on you. Yeah, these things are definitely stronger versions of them, which is kind of interesting. And despite equipping the Crimson Eye, Estelle is still going a lot of the time. Guess these things are sort of slow-ish? Although you wouldn't expect something named Roadrunner to be slow. Yeah, I kind of want that thing to go down just in case it decides to instant get somebody. I mean, he's still doing okay damage against these things. Just not, you know, Thunder God kick levels of damage. Which is like that. Yeah, who needs S-Crafts, as I keep saying. Yeah, I think I have to do this just so that Agate can do a little bit more damage. Yeah, more annoying summoning. Can I get both of you in Dragoon Edge? No, but I can get both of you. These things aren't using, like, anything resembling, Earthshaker from Chapter 4. And if you were a little bit closer, I could have Thunder God kicked both of them, but I guess instead, I will simply punch you in the face and petrify you. I am very surprised they haven't gone for any, like, do they even have that? I'm pretty sure they do have an all-targeting attack. And now we're just down to 1, so this should hopefully go pretty quickly. Just stack on a few more hits here. I can delay you with Spiral Edge, because why not? And Zin. Doesn't actually do... Huh, did Morale override your previous attack buff? I kinda wonder if it did, because that's very low damage for a 60% strength buff. And now... There we go. That wasn't too bad, but with that we get the Freeze 2 Quartz, which gives you a 20% chance of freeze on basic attacks. And I'll just cut to finishing off the Dimension Bug. So something kind of interesting about Saffel Tower is that you can actually fish inside this pond, and there's a pretty wide variety of fish that are available here. And with that, we get the one that we've been waiting for, the Mind Orb. And now we have all 4 orbs. But just to show this one, the Mind Orb gives plus 50 ATS, and it has none of the drawbacks that the Crimson Eye have. In fact, it has plus 5 speed instead of minus 5 speed. But if you want to go full ATS, it does stack with the Crimson Eye, but we can't do that at this point in the game, because in order to even use your ATS stat, you need a ZFG in one of your slots. So here we are back in Ruin. And one thing that I want to go ahead and check is to see if the new mayor's come into office yet. Yep, it's Norman. Wow, that was a really long time ago. Yes, the mysterious case of the evil door. And Joshua has no idea what we're talking about. Yeah, Estelle clearly hasn't told him about that one yet. So yeah, according to the news, you're the mayor of this region now. Though what a time to recently be elected. Well, even that helps. And we're the ones who'll have to take care of that. But just helping the people get by day is important. So what we actually came here for was, over here in the harbour. There's a bit more to see in the city, but I want to take care of this while we're in the area. Yes, it's almost Mayor Portos. It's kind of funny, the papers said that it was a close election, but, yeah, a 60% margin for the winner is generally considered a landslide, so yeah, maybe in this universe it's close. I'm pretty sure we've done jobs for Haag in the past. Here he is. Yeah, I think he's the guy who lost that key back in FC. You know, that quest we went and did after the orphanage burned down, and before we checked to see if the orphans were okay. Well, I mean, Zien is just saying try me at this point. Enough for the time being. I guess we can always take more later if they run out. Yeah, well, I mean, easy to carry for Zien isn't exactly a good measure for the average person. Yeah, I hope it will. Oh, this takes me back to when we first had our encounter with Phantom Thief B. Yeah, Estella's pointing this out, you need to bring Tita back into your party in order to, do the whole... in order to finish this quest. So, we'll do that, but firstly, there is one more thing I want to take care of in the Ruin region. And that's the fact that the bridge is stuck in the upright position. Because of that, in order to get over to the other side of the river, you have to wait for a boat. And not even a powered boat, an actual rowboat. Okay, that's good at least. So, thankfully, they don't and I love this option. Thankfully, they don't make you wait for this in real time. If you say yes, they just condense it to a montage of you waiting in line. So, canonically, you still wait 30 minutes, but gameplay-wise, obviously doesn't take that long, because that would just be evil. And it drops us off near the hotel on the other side. At least Murray's getting a lot of business in these times. So yeah, Hotel Blanche is kind of serving as a makeshift dock. But something that's also really cool about this is that the Ravens are now all banding together to help people out. They're actually turning themselves around. It's just pretty awesome to see this. Sometimes disasters really do bring out the best in people. And yeah, here we can see the Ravens and the fact that the bridge is down. Well, I mean, they're not entirely reformed, but still. They're doing what they can. Another reason why I wanted to bring Agate here as well. Sort of. I wonder how quickly people accepted the fact that these guys are helping now and they used to be a gang. Yeah, we kind of already went through that direction. So, that one other thing that I wanted to take care of in Ruin is not going into the Bracer Guild, because doing that would force us to give up our final ZFG, and the moment that you do that, Grand Cell is locked out to you for the rest of the chapter. So we're not going to go for that just yet. What we are instead going to do is we're going to head... Actually, no, first thing we're going to do is heal. And now what we're going to do is head straight out of town, because right at the very entrance to Ruin should be some balancing clowns. And I think this should be the final monster hunt for this chapter, and thus the final one in the game. So the other annoying thing here is you also need petrification immunity, and it's kind of hard to fit all of that onto one item set, especially if you're using ZFGs. I kind of still want the power orb on Agate though. Okay, I guess I'll try this and see how it goes. So yeah, we not only have the balancing clowns back, thankfully they're pretty weak in terms of HP, we also have more of the Vogel 911 EX. Yeah, I would say that name is kind of prophetic, but, Australia doesn't use the, 911 numbering system. Our equivalent of the emergency number is, 000, which I actually think makes more sense, but anyway. Okay, I could... A lot of these things are lined up actually pretty conveniently for Thunder God Kick, but I don't think I'll get that in time. I don't know if I should even go for Clock Down here. The enemies here are so weak that I probably want to just finish them all off as quickly as possible. There's Gorgon Laser. Good for that miss Agate, because he's not actually immune to, petrification. These things do hit pretty hard with Marionette, though. And how much is in... I can get 3 of them in Thunder God Kick. And he made up the CP cost of it, because, yeah, Thunder God Kick is amazing. No more petrification, thankfully. And I guess I'll go for a Death Scream with you. Okay, S-Craft there. Stella's kind of likely to go down, so I may as well take that 10% strength turn just to see if I can get rid of one of the Vogels. Will this do it? It did! Good! Okay, that's one thing down. Okay, at least you can go for Josh. Dang it, okay. Well, Agate can probably use his turn to cure that. I don't like the fact that you're still going. And I especially don't like that. I kind of wish I had AoE status curing, but I don't have that on really anyone right now. Let's go ahead and cure Zin, because I really want a Thunder God Kick. Okay, I have Black Fang. So that's good. And I can... Oh, okay, if I could hit the middle one with that, I probably would be able to get all 3 of them, but, it's not in range of, yeah, the full thing. I only have range with this one. They're getting kinda low. I should have S-broken with Joshua. Okay, then, let's cure this petrification. Which might not even help. Okay, nice miss there. Poison. Didn't even know that could inflict that. Running a little low on refresh jellies, but I should probably be relatively fine going forward. Oh, those Vogels are still barely hanging on. Okay, can I get... Oh, I can only Thunder God Kick one of them at a time. I think instead of that, I will True Distend and then S-Break. Because this with a 60% strength buff should be doing quite a lot. Yep, that takes out all 3 of them. Don't want to rest yet, because it's still possible I could get unlucky and these things could kill me. But they're pretty low on health. Okay, yeah, I've got this. I Death Scream there, I revive Estelle so she doesn't lose the experience, I don't accidentally hit run, because I actually have failed to fight in this chapter by doing that. It was against the Cougars. And now this should do it. Okay, there we go. And that is the final Monster Hunt side quest for this chapter.
That's that. Let's move out.
Okay, Zin levels up from that, but not Agate. And we get Sleep 2 out of that. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and heal up, and then take the gasoline back to Zeiss. Okay, so while we're at the Zeiss Bracer Guild, we can safely report the Gull Seaside Way monster, and the Saphel Tower monster. And I've also put Tita back in the party. So, we have everything we need, all that's left to do is to head to the hot springs. Oh, okay. So, I didn't have the recipe for Corna Castella before. I was kind of freaking out that I'd missed a recipe before, but yeah, that's why. Okay, now I'm safely on track for recipes. And so it's time to finally fix the hot springs. So let's just leave Tita to her own devices for likely several hours. One of you can go and make coffee, I guess. Yeah, I like to think that just like her grandfather, Tita always assigns one person the job of just making coffee. It's a bit of an odd solution, but it fits. Yeah, you don't usually see that portrait from Joshua either, it's kind of interesting. Joshua is displaying a much wider range of emotions than he ever did in FC, which makes sense. Even then, he was subconsciously repressing parts of his past. He was kind of still in that I'm not allowed to be happy phase. Yeah, that, kind of like a miniature earthquake, but at least it works. We have heating again! And that should at least improve things in the region for the time being. No more having to take freezing cold baths. Tita, that is extremely true. Although, yeah, Estelle's running around everywhere did help out too, a bit. Yeah, it's making everything so much more inconvenient. We've got to end this as soon as we can. I suppose that is one major function of this quest. It just shows you how inconvenient life without orbments is in Liberl. This is in a way something of Estelle's philosophy in general. And there are a few benefits to this quest, not just the pay and the BP, but also this. You get Nirvana Tea. Quest complete. Our CP is restored to 200, and we can now do that whenever we want, although I probably should have saved that until before I fought all of the wanted monsters in this chapter. And we also have Nirvana Tea, full recovery and cures all status ailments. So you better believe we're getting the recipe for that. You can only get this by completing that quest. HP max! So yeah, you need vintage wine and ripe apples, and okay, yeah, prickly seeds and gummy eyeballs are the more difficult to acquire ingredients for this recipe. Clear gelatins drop by quite a lot of things. So yeah, if you can make this, you might want to make quite a bit of it. And believe it or not, there is one more benefit to completing Hot Spring Restoration, but to see it, we're going to have to trek all the way to Wolf Fort. If we talk to CWO Pace... Oh yeah, Harken Gate is having a lot of problems right now. You get Gambler Jack Volume 13. You can only get that after Hot Spring Restoration, apparently. We seem to be just missing 12 for the moment, and we'll be getting that relatively soon, so for now, yeah, if I've managed to edit this down to one episode, this is going to be a pretty packed part. But next time, we'll be turning in our final ZFG and dealing with a side quest in Ruin. So, I'll see you all then.